Hey friends! Welcome back to our channel. I'm Allure. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. On this channel, we talk a lot about personal development and personal finances. So if you enjoy conversations like that, definitely subscribe and join the party. So if you read the title of this video, then you know I'm gonna be sharing with you 5 books that I believe can change your life in just a year. I really love books because of the ability for it to be a 2-in-1 solution, sometimes even a 3-in-1 solution, depending on the kind of books that you're reading. For one, it increases your vocabulary and improves your vernacular, which in turn allows you to become more of an articulate being, which is extremely beneficial when you're in situations that require you to communicate and convey your thoughts to other people. And secondly, it allows you to learn more. You learn about yourself, you learn about others and the world around us. So it broadens your horizon and you're able to pick up the expertise of other people in such a short amount of time in comparison to how long it took them to learn what they learned. Be sure to send this video off to someone who you know would enjoy a good book recommendation list. Books can be a really transformational product to your life and to your mentality and essentially help you to become smarter. Speaking of becoming smarter in a short amount of time, I want to give a special thanks to a brand I love for sponsoring this video, Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a free daily newsletter that is sent out from Monday to Saturday that gets you up to speed on business news in just 5 minutes. Traditional news is dry, dense, and boring, while Morning Brew is witty, it's relevant, and it's informative. If you're the type that gets caught on social media every morning, scrolling aimlessly, I'd definitely suggest checking out Morning Brew and starting your day off with a quick, witty, informative read that motivates you to get your day started and make intentional strides. Just this morning, they sent an email with a summary of how the markets are looking. Heavy hitters like Facebook, Tesla, and Microsoft dipped and dragged the NASDAQ and S&P lower because when tech has a bad day, the broader stock market generally has a bad day as well. They also sent a newsletter the other day which stated that the wealthiest 1% of US households fail to disclose 21% of their income according to a new study by the IRS, and I found that to be pretty intriguing. There's really no reason not to subscribe to Morning Brew if you're interested in business, finance, or tech. It's completely free and takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. So click the link in the description box below and subscribe to Morning Brew today. So I really want to get into these awesome books. They're not quick 5-minute reads, but they're definitely worth the time investment in my opinion. I just love the fact that the same book read at different points of your life can resonate with you differently each time. I experienced this with the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I've actually read this book about 4 times now at different stages of my life, and every time I read it, it has resonated with me differently. Now, this is the quintessential personal development book for the 9-to-5 side hustler who's trying to turn their side hustle into their main hustle. In this book, Tim Ferriss states that people don't want to be millionaires, they want to experience what they think only millionaires can buy. He refers to the new rich often in his book, and they are people who have abandoned the old school deferred method of life, which is to live a life that you kind of love, kind of don't, until you're old enough to retire in your 60s and then finally living the life that you've always wanted to live. He talks about how to free up most of your time and automate your income so that you're able to get more out of life and go on mini retirements throughout your entire life instead of just at the end of your life. The end, because we never know when that is, right? Tim also references Pareto's 80-20 principle, and that's the idea that 80% of your output will result from 20% of your input. And that can be applied anywhere from business to personal and everything in between. So by identifying which 20% of your sources are causing 80% of your problems and which 20% of your inputs are producing 80% of your results, you can adjust your life accordingly. The book has many challenges throughout it that are meant to help you get familiar and embrace the uncomfortable, like going on a 1-week low information, no media diet and only consuming information that is necessary. So yeah, that means no social media. And another challenge is to ask for the phone numbers of at least 2 attractive members of the opposite sex on each day of the challenge while maintaining eye contact. So That includes the ladies. And the real goal here is not to get numbers, but it's to get over the fear of asking and being uncomfortable. So next we have the book Dear Sonali, Letters to a Daughter I Never Had by Judge Lynn Toler. And if you don't know who Judge Lynn Toler is, she's a lawyer and an arbitrator, and she has a television show called Divorce Court that she's the judge on. Now, okay, transparent yet shameless confession, I actually used to love watching court TV a few years back, especially Judge Mathis and Paternity Court. I never really got into Divorce Court like that, but I've seen snippets of the show online before, and Mrs. Lynn Toler is always spitting the gems and the facts in her courtroom. So when I came across an excerpt of her book, I definitely wanted to read it. I actually listened to the audiobook instead, and it was very short and easy listen, and it was actually about 4 hours and some change. So I found this to be a very beautiful book. Between her and her husband, they have 6 sons, and she always wanted a daughter so that she could have a relationship similar to the one she shares with her mom, because they had a unique and very, very close relationship. Each chapter is formulated as a letter to us, the reader, who she calls Sonali, as things she would have told her daughter, who's us, as if she had one. Now, to be completely honest, I don't feel that I learned anything brand new or groundbreaking in this book, but sometimes that isn't even what books are meant to provide. I feel like I was having a sit-down, words of wisdom conversation with an auntie, and I really enjoyed it. I love chatting with my moms and my aunts while they pour all their words of wisdom and encouragement and life lessons onto me, honey. And that's the vibe I felt when I listened to this book. I have a link below for you if you want to listen to it as well, if you'd like to. This book provided advice on everything from money to relationships to passions to careers, accepting criticism, and so much more. And although the advice is very motivational, it's also very practical, which I love. So the next book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book is actually a book we read in the Good Girls Gone Boss Society as Book of the Month. And the premise of the book explores the comparison between 2 men, Robert's biological father and his friend's father, who he considered another father figure to him in his life. And it also explores how they went about their finances, investing, and money management. So Robert's real dad was highly educated. He went to school and had a well-paying job, but he was always broke. While his friend's dad didn't even finish high school, but managed to be extremely wealthy because of the practices he implemented with his finances. The 2 major takeaways here are that 1, you don't need to earn a high income in order to be rich, and 2, rich people make money work for them. There are so many gems here and quotables in this book, but one that was really great was when he said, once you understand the difference between assets and liabilities, concentrate your efforts on buying income generating assets. And that section of the book stood out to me because it was the first time I had actually heard someone call out the fact that not every house you own is an asset. If the house is not producing an income, it's a liability. And that's okay, so long as you realize and you don't trick yourself into thinking that your house is an asset when in actuality it's draining you every month. The same goes for cars and designer bags that we say are investments, or any other asset that we trick ourselves into thinking are assets when in actuality they're liabilities. So another quotable was when he said, the rich focus on their asset column while everyone else focus on their income statements. Mind blown. That right there was a game changer, because he was calling out the fact that people focus so much on the act of getting money themselves without focusing on the act of having your money work for you and your money bringing in money for you. So this is an amazing read, and I feel anyone can relate, especially me being the child of 2 immigrant parents and being first generation Canadian. I really resonated with a lot of what he said. So I would highly recommend you to pick up this book and shift the way you think about money. Major game changer. So the next book is How to Get What You Want and Want What You Have by John Gray. This book is a little bit beat up because I've had it for years and I really neglected it. I actually picked it up when I was in the UK and I had a long commute somewhere and I had forgotten my book at home. So I stopped at some random bookstore in Oxford Circus and I read it that day. It was a good read. It was cool. And then I never picked it up again. Highly neglected it. And then I picked it up again recently, about 4 years later, and it just hit different. Then I realized I actually have another book by John Gray. This is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. This one was given to me though, and I just really like the writer John Gray, his writing style. It's pretty short, sweet, and concise, right to the point. In this book, he says, use your wisdom and power not only to help yourself and your family, but to extend yourself to help the world in some way. He speaks about different love vitamins and expresses that we often look to others or externally to fill our empty love tanks. But when we do that, we deprive ourselves of the opportunity to look within for our true happiness. He also speaks about why we should embrace our desires for internal happiness and material things, but stresses that material objects will only make you happy if you're already happy within, not vice versa. He shares proven strategies that enable us to achieve personal success and take responsibility for our own blocks and our own personal success and release negative emotions. Definitely a great read that I recommend. It helps you to look within and search within for the answers as opposed to looking externally for other validations on our pursuit of happiness. So the next book that I'm going to mention is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, when I first heard about this book, I was like, ooh, that sounds cynical. I don't want to read that. Also, I have enough friends. I don't want to win anymore. But the more I kept hearing about this book, I gave in, I read it, and I was pleasantly surprised because it wasn't what I thought at all. I was very intrigued as well because the book was originally written in 1936, and till this day, it still comes up as a staple personal development book. The word influence has a negative connotation associated with it, but in actuality, it's when people are influenced negatively or for the benefit of others, which then would be considered manipulation, and that right there, that's an issue. Manipulation is wrong. Influence is not, because you can use your influence for the greater good. I've seen so many people who use their platform to positively impact other people's lives and influence others to be a better version of themselves, which ironically, if I do say so myself, this video would be an example of, because I'm hoping by the end of this video, I have influenced you to read more books and take in more meaningful information that will help you to become a better, smarter, more well-rounded version of yourself. Just hoping, fingers crossed. But really, this world would be nothing without human interaction, and I think every single person should read a book or two on social interactions. This book is also routinely cited as a great way to get over social anxiety because it outlines a few techniques that make meeting new people a little bit easier. The book truly allows you to see some tactics that are used in order to influence people so that you're able to hopefully influence them for the greater good. And not only that, but it allows you to identify when tactics like these are being used on you, whether consciously or subconsciously. So that's it for the 5 books that I recommend that you read because they will change your life for the better. Be sure to send this video off to someone who you know would enjoy a good book recommendation list. Leave some of your favorite books down below because I'm always up for a good read, and I'm sure other people are as well and could benefit from the comments that you leave down below. I'd love to do a part 2 of this because of course I couldn't fit all of my favorite books or very noteworthy books in a short YouTube video. So I'd absolutely love to do a part 2. If you all are interested, let me know in the comments. Definitely check out the description bar for links to everything that I mentioned. And once again, thank you so much to Morning Brew for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out with the link in the description bar. I love you guys so much. Love you to the moon and back. Future to you. Mwah. Bye.